The way I define social justice is that social justice really deals with um, treating people and dealing with a situation with a lens of fairness and equality. It deals with really as social justice speaks to how fair a situation is, a society is, how balanced, how equitable it is for all people that reside in that society. Public interest, on the other hand, I define it as when a decision is made, taking into consideration the interests of everyone that reside in that society. Public interest deals with making a decision, a balanced decision, where all interests of all parties, of all people, regardless of their income, regardless of their race, are taken into account, and whereby a decision is not made to the detriment of one group over another, but it's made in consideration of the equitable and fair, balanced approach. I embody these two ideas in my personal and professional life because in my professional life, when I go to work, I approach my job as a public servant. Working for the government, I see that serving the people. And so my approach is to approach the job in fairness and treat people the same. It's a very simple rule, but even in the face of competing interests, I try to do the best I can to make sure that the idea of fairness and equality is not lost. One area that I would like to advocate for a change will be in the area of gun violence. Gun violence has taken over the United States. And the people that most suffer from gun violence in this country are communities of brown and black people. The idea that young people growing up in these neighborhoods, urban cities, young people cannot live and go outside. Kids can't even go outside to play. A non-for-profit called Brady had have stated that in America alone, over 115,000 people get shot. And out of those 115,000 people, 38,000 lose their life annually. And so this is a problem that not just affects um, the East Coast, the West Coast, the South, but it's across the country. And there's an argument that some people in some aisle, they argue that they have the right to possess gun and they should have the right to keep their guns because the Constitution guarantees that right. Then that is true. But we also know that countless amount of lives get lost in America because of gun violence. And we need to do something about it. And we know that most people that die from gun violence are black and brown people in the urban city areas. And so, as an attorney of social justice attorney, I will work towards addressing the issue of gun violence in America. And I will do my level best to make sure that these policies are changed and these policies are looked into because a lot of young people, a lot of dreams get cut off too soon and too early because of gun violence in America. A case in point is last month in New York City when a young man was shooting, targeting another young man sporadically, indiscriminately, without looking at, in the face of two young kids that was running, trying to escape. And it was miraculous that these young kids did not lose their life. Take, for instance, this weekend, Independence Day weekend. Within the past 72 hours, over 500 and something people has been shot in America. And this is from CNN projected. This is not acceptable, and we ought to be doing something about it and changing these policies to make it harder for bad people to get their hands on gun. It should be a collective approach, and so as a public interest lawyer, I will advocate for a change in policy in gun ownership, and there should be a stringent gun control policies in place across the country to mitigate this pandemic of gun violence in America.